Imagine an ancient seer handing you 9 locked crystal balls instead of a written scroll.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right. Like you can't just glance at a piece of parchment and read a quick warning about the days ahead.
No, you'd have to actively unlock each one.
Exactly. You have to gaze into it, watch the vision unfold in real time, one after another. And honestly, that is exactly what you, our listener, handed us today for this deep dive.
It really is. It's a completely fascinating approach.
Because it wasn't a mountain of research or some dense white paper. It was just a single minimalist text document.
Barely anything on the page.
Yeah, and the file name is actually in Turkish. It's called balloonenlinkler.txt, which translates to found links.
Found links. I love that.
It's so evocative. And inside this document is just a mysterious map of digital coordinates. So, okay, let's unpack this.
It's quite a striking departure from what we typically examine here. I mean, there's no thesis statement, no executive summary.
None of that.
Just a document that begins with a single sentence in Turkish, which is Aşağıdaki linkler bu haftanın astroloji yorumlarıdır.
And for those of us who don't speak Turkish.
Right. That translates directly to the following links are this week's astrology reviews.
Wow.
And then beneath that sentence, it's just a raw list of 9 individual YouTube URLs.
Just boom, 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 9 links.
Mm-hmm.
That single sentence completely reorients the entire landscape of what we're doing today.
Oh, absolutely.
Because suddenly we're looking at this like mechanism for decoding time and destiny, all tightly packed into the span of just the upcoming 7 days.
Just 1 week. Yeah.
But I think it's the medium itself that immediately stands out to me, because you didn't send us links to traditional astrology websites with long, dense paragraphs of text.
No, every single one of these 9 coordinates points directly to a video platform.
Right, to YouTube.
And that shift, from text to video in the realm of astrological interpretation, it represents a massive cultural evolution.
Wow.
Well, for centuries, the medium heavily dictated the audience's relationship with the cosmos. Like, astrological knowledge used to be restricted to ancient scrolls or incredibly complex hand-drawn natal charts.
Right. Things that only a select few could even decipher.
Exactly. And then moving into the 20th century, the medium shifted to the newspaper horoscope.
Oh, yeah. Tucked in the back pages.
Yeah, it became highly democratized, available to anyone with 50 cents. But it was also incredibly abbreviated.
Just a tiny little block of text.
Right, next to the crossword puzzle.
Yeah, it's like, Taurus, avoid large purchases today. Your lucky number is 4.
Totally impersonal.
Completely. You read it, you maybe smiled, and you just turned the page.
Because it required entirely passive reading. You had to provide your own internal voice and your own emotional tone to those few sentences.
You had to do the work.
Yes. But look at the architecture of the sources you've curated for us today. The astrologer is no longer some faceless writer typing out generalized platitudes in a cubicle.
They're right there in front of you.
They have transformed into a performer, an on-camera guide. Astrology has evolved almost entirely into these highly engaging, personality-driven video formats.
Specifically engineered for modern weekly consumption.
Precisely.
And that raises a really fascinating question about human psychology, I think. Does receiving an astrological prediction via video fundamentally change how we process the information?
Compared to reading a text-based horoscope.
Yeah. I mean, I have to imagine the visual and auditory performance of the modern astrologer is now, like, inextricably linked to the reading itself.
Yeah, for sure.
When you watch these videos, you aren't just getting data about Mars entering Gemini. You are watching their hand gestures.
You're absorbing the tone of their voice.
Exactly. You are looking at the aesthetic of their recording studio, the mood lighting, the tapestries in the background. Doesn't all of that visual data actually become part of the prophecy?
Undoubtedly. The medium of delivery heavily influences the emotional weight of the message.
Yeah.
When you read text on a screen, your brain has to do the heavy lifting of imagining the gravity of the situation. But on video...
They do it for you.
Right. The astrologer provides that emotional resonance, directly bypassing your analytical filters.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like, they might lower their voice to a whisper when warning you about a challenging Pluto transit, right?
Creating this sense of intimacy and caution.
Exactly. Or, conversely, they might speak loudly, wave their hands around, smile broadly when discussing a Jupiter return.
Just instantly injecting optimism into your psyche.
Yes, it fundamentally alters your role in the exchange.
Because you aren't just absorbing information anymore. You are participating in an emotional experience.
Right, and the parasocial relationship you form with a video creator, it adds a layer of trust that a few lines of text in a newspaper could never, ever achieve.
It feels like this person is speaking directly to you, looking you in the eye and guiding you through the celestial weather.
Which is incredibly powerful. And this reliance on parasocial trust brings us to a compelling paradox embedded in the very format of the file you sent us.
Oh, the second command.
Yes. The document contains a second Turkish command following the initial setup. It reads, Lütfen bu setlerdeki içerikleri referans al.
Which translates to, please use the content on these sites as a reference.
Right.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
What?
Because to reference something, that sounds so academic.
It really does.
It sounds like you are citing a peer-reviewed journal, not, consulting the stars.
Precisely. You are treating mystical interpretation with the rigor of a research project.
Which is such a wild juxtaposition.
It is. Think about it. You are asking us to reference content that is visually and audibly rich, these vibrant human performances filled with cosmic advice.
Yeah.
But to us, looking at this text file, all of that vibrant energy is locked behind sterile URL identifiers.
We're just staring at strings of web infrastructure.
Exactly. It's an incredible contrast.
All the mysteries of the universe, the movements of massive celestial bodies, all compressed down into an 11-character alphanumeric code, like LYZ48UJQQ.
Or TKBJQs.
Yes. It is the ultimate collision of ancient mysticism and cold, hard web syntax.
It really highlights how we navigate belief in the digital age. We're relying on fiber optic cables and server farms to deliver ancient archetypes.
That's a great way to put it.
But honestly, the most revealing aspect of this file isn't just the URLs themselves. It's the specific title you chose for the document.
Balloonandlinkler.txt. Found links.
That word found changes everything.
It implies a deliberate, highly active process of curation.
Right. You didn't just stumble blindly onto these 9 specific videos.
You didn't just open an app and let the autoplay algorithm take over, passively consuming whatever astrology content was spoon-fed to you.
No, you actively bypassed the algorithm. You scoured the platform, evaluated different voices, and deliberately gathered these 9 specific coordinates into a personal static collection.
It is an act of digital foraging.
Digital foraging, I like that.
Well, think about it. In an ecosystem designed to keep us scrolling endlessly through a randomized feed, creating a static text file of specific links is almost an act of rebellion.
It really is. You are scavenging the internet for meaning and compiling your own fixed anthology of foresight. You are defining the boundaries of your own inquiry.
Which makes me wonder about the deeper motivation behind that foraging.
What do you mean?
Like, if these are truly found links, does the act of searching for our own destiny, actively gathering 9 different sources for a single week, does that actually change our fate?
Oh, that's a deep question.
Or are we just trying to exert some semblance of control over a universe that feels entirely uncontrollable?
That's the classic dilemma, isn't it?
Because there is something incredibly proactive about looking at the week ahead and saying, I refuse to accept just one person's view of my timeline. I am going to build my own council of 9 advisors.
And that touches on the core existential tension that has always surrounded astrology, the battle between fate and free will. Your curation of this list leans heavily, almost defiantly, into free will. By gathering these found sources, you are placing the burden of interpretation squarely on your own shoulders.
You are not passively accepting a single prediction as gospel.
No, you are taking responsibility for the synthesis. You are basically saying, I am going to survey the entire landscape of possibilities, map out the potential pitfalls and the advantages, and I will navigate my ship accordingly.
It's not about finding someone to tell you what will happen. It's about assembling a jury of 9 distinct voices to pass a verdict on the week ahead.
A jury of 9.
Yes, you are bringing these 9 astrologers into a virtual room, sitting them down at a table, and demanding they present their cases before you make your own ruling.
That is a perfect way to conceptualize it. You are cross-examining the cosmos.
Cross-examining the cosmos, yes.
But, this requires a tremendous amount of active engagement. You are attempting to exert a measure of preparedness in an inherently chaotic universe.
It's a lot of work.
It is.
Yeah.
And this level of rigorous preparation forces us to look at the sheer volume of data you are choosing to consume.
Let's talk about that volume. because it is staggering.
True hit.
You have given us exactly 9 separate YouTube videos to decode the energies of just one single week.
9 comprehensive video interpretations for a 7-day period. I mean,
Right.
a week is just 168 hours of lived human experience, and you are potentially dedicating hours of viewing time just to figure out how to navigate it.
The ratio of preparation to execution is immense.
It really is. If you think about the typical length of a YouTube astrology video, especially the ones that go deep into specific planetary alignments or break things down sign by sign.
They can easily run 20 minutes to an hour.
Exactly. So you are looking at a massive investment of time.
Which begs the question, why does someone need 9 distinct voices to tell them what Tuesday might feel like?
Right.
Is a person doing this building an echo chamber to hear what they want to hear, or are they hosting a digital symposium to challenge their own assumptions?
Well, given the command to reference these sites, it leans heavily toward the digital symposium.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it perfectly illustrates a modern phenomenon, trying to cure uncertainty through volume.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
In a world where we have endless, friction-free access to information, there is a temptation to believe that if we just gather enough data points, we can eliminate risk entirely.
If I just watch one more video, I'll know for sure.
Exactly. Seeking out 9 different astrological interpretations for a single week shows a desire to leave absolutely no stone unturned. You are seeking a 360-degree omniscient view of your own timeline.
But this parasocial trust we were talking about earlier, it has to have a breaking point, doesn't it?
How do you mean?
Because you didn't just trust one guide. You sought out 9. And I have to ask, is gathering 9 different interpretations for 1 week a sign of unmatched thoroughness? Or is it a recipe for absolute chaos?
It walks a very fine line between the two, I have
Yeah.
to say. Because the human brain is naturally wired to seek consensus. When we consult multiple sources, we are usually looking for agreement to validate our choices.
Right, but perfect consensus across 9 different independent creators is practically impossible.
Almost mathematically impossible.
So what happens when you open the first link in your carefully curated text file and that astrologer is radiating positivity?
I'm a beaming.
Yeah, they look right into the camera and say, the stars are perfectly aligned for abundance this week. Jupiter is in your favor. Take risks, make that investment, and open your heart to new opportunities.
You feel great. You feel prepared.
Exactly. But then you keep foraging. You get down to the very last link on your list, perhaps that video with the URL IDQXVSAV
Okay, yeah.
And that astrologer has a completely different aesthetic. The lighting is dark, their tone is serious, and they warn you, Saturn is squaring your financial house. This is a week of restriction. Hide your wallet, avoid new contracts, and absolutely do not take any risks.
Oh boy. Yeah, that scenario is the exact risk of overcuration. You gather so many different maps of the same territory that the overlapping lines render the map completely unreadable.
You can no longer decipher the terrain.
Exactly. This is where the practice of gathering information can actually induce paralysis rather than preparedness.
Because you don't know who to trust.
Right. If you are entirely reliant on the external source to dictate your actions, encountering direct contradictions will leave you stranded.
So how does a person reconcile that? How do you take a command to take risks and a command to hide your wallet and build a coherent week out of it?
It's tough.
Doesn't the sheer volume of information eventually just cancel itself out, leaving you exactly where you started?
Well, it only cancels itself out if you are looking for literal step-by-step instructions.
Okay.
However, if you are engaging in this process as a true symposium, this is where critical thinking and pattern recognition become your most vital tools.
Interesting.
Multiple perspectives shouldn't paralyze you. They should add depth of field. If you are consulting 9 different sources, the goal is not to find perfect alignment.
Then what is the goal?
The goal is to identify the underlying emotional frequencies.
Okay, that sounds great in theory, but how do you actually find a cohesive pattern inside a direct contradiction?
You step back. You look at what both astrologers are fundamentally focusing on.
Okay, so in my example,
Right. In your example, one astrologer focuses heavily on massive financial gain, while the other focuses on severe financial restriction. What is the recurring theme?
finance, money.
Yes. The underlying theme across both readings is extreme volatility in your material world.
Oh, okay, I see.
The universe, according to your jury of 9, is pointing a massive spotlight at your resources. So how do you synthesize that?
You don't just blindly invest or hoard cash.
No, you don't necessarily lock your wallet in a safe, nor do you go gamble your life savings. You proceed through the week with a hyper-elevated awareness of your financial interactions.
You review contracts twice.
You pause before making a purchase. The contradiction itself actually creates a deeper, more nuanced understanding of the week's energy.
Provided you are willing to do the analytical work to find it.
Precisely.
You are looking for the center of gravity among the 9 voices. You are treating the contradictions not as errors, but as different facets of the same underlying truth.
Exactly. It requires you to be an active participant in the creation of meaning.
Taking all these raw data points.
These 9 digital coordinates pointing to 9 distinct human performances. And you are plotting them on your own internal graph to find your true north.
Which reveals something profound about you, the listener who compiled this list.
It really does.
It means you aren't just looking for an easy answer. You aren't looking to be coddled by a single reassuring voice.
No, you are engaging in a rigorous process of triangulation.
And the fact that you specifically selected Turkish language reviews might suggest a desire to connect with a specific cultural framework of interpretation. Or maybe you just trust the astrological lineage of that specific region.
Sure. But regardless of the language, the methodology is universal. You are demanding a multifaceted view of your reality.
It highlights a remarkable evolution in the human search for guidance and comfort, don't you think?
Absolutely. We no longer stand alone in a field, looking up at the night sky in total isolation, trying to invent meaning from the arrangement of glowing gas billions of miles away.
Right. Instead, we look at a glowing screen.
We tap into a decentralized community of interpreters. We navigate the complexities of modern, hyper-connected life through the lens of ancient mythic archetypes.
All delivered instantaneously via fiber optic cables.
It is a beautiful, almost poetic synthesis of the deeply ancient and the hypermodern.
It really is a fascinating collision of eras.
Right.
I mean, we began this deep dive staring at what looks like an empty room, just a plain text file containing nothing but a brief Turkish directive and a list of web addresses.
But when we actually started to decode the intention behind it,
Yeah, we found a sprawling, complex reflection on how we consume media, how we attempt to map the unknown, and how we actively curate our own relationship with fate.
we explored the dramatic shift from passive text consumption to emotionally engaging video immersion, realizing that the visual and auditory performance of the modern astrologer is now inextricably woven into the prophecy itself.
And we examined the deliberate, highly active curation behind the creation of your balloonandlinkler.txt file.
Understanding it as an act of digital foraging, a proactive attempt to gather multiple truths and bypass the algorithmic feed in favor of intentional selection.
And we tackled the psychological implications of the sheer volume of it all. The realization that dedicating hours to consulting 9 different perspectives for a single 7-day period isn't necessarily about finding one perfect, flawless prediction.
Not at all. It is about spotting the overlaps, acknowledging and dissecting the contradictions, and ultimately finding a balanced, synthesized path forward.
So true.
Ultimately, the most profound insight here isn't hidden inside any of those 9 individual YouTube videos.
Oh.
No. The deeper insight is found in your own methodology. It is in the care, the time, and the rigorous critical thinking you apply to gathering these multiple perspectives to navigate your week.
Wow.
The oracle you are consulting isn't just the charismatic person on the screen. The true oracle is your own capacity to synthesize the noise into a cohesive signal.
You are your own ultimate interpreter. You built the jury, you heard the evidence, and now you have to render the verdict.
Very well said.
Which leaves us with one final thought.
Mm-hmm.
You've done the heavy lifting, you've gathered the coordinates, and you've built this highly customized council of 9 voices to guide you through the week.
Right.
But it makes me wonder, when you possess a meticulously curated text file of 9 different videos, each offering a slightly different version of your destiny,
Yes.
does the future remain written in the stars above? Or is it actually found in the algorithm of which link you choose to click first?
Oh, that is a fascinating question to carry into the days ahead.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and we hope you have a truly insightful week of discovery. Talk to you soon.